Hello everyone, this is your buddy and your pal, Aewch, back again with What You Been Playin'. Play the music. Let's talk about hype for 1 second. If there is any industry that always uses hype as a big weapon, it's the video game industry. Huge adventures that they promise are amazing and will change your life for the better. And then, as it turns out, it's just a video game. Like, we play these games, we expect so much, and then it's done. There is no bigger example of this, really recently, like Kingdom Hearts 3. First and foremost, the fighting still feels as good as ever. If you've played 1 and 2, you know it's mashing the attack button, which, for my personality type, I guess, it's fine. Then you can gain abilities that affect the strength of your combos, such as the last hit being big or more damage while you're in the air. Plus, all Keyblade models, I guess I can call them, have an alternate power form that does big damage, add a new form of summons based on Disneyland attractions. They're really reaching for fan service anymore. That usually do some form of crowd control against the Heartless, Nobodies, and whatever biology, metaphor, enemy they want to make. Now add automatic duo attacks like Donald's Fireworks or Goofy's Shield Bash and whatnot. Finally, make everything I just mentioned stack on top of one another, and you have a basis for how advanced the combat in Kingdom Hearts 3 is. There is an aura of combat becoming too easy because of this, but there is a charm of Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin cart coming out, and you just start blasting stuff with lasers. It is fun. So you still jump from Disney World to Disney World, saving at said world and solving everyone's problems, but just barely. The biggest change noticeable is the fact that all of the worlds are based from the Pixar studios, which probably made the 3D modeling really easily. I'm assuming they just dragged and dropped stuff into the cloud or whatever. While the loss of more fan-servicey worlds like Tron or Steamboat Willie take away some creativity, it makes up for it with how much polish and shine all these Pixar worlds have. I mean, the Toy Story world looks like a damn Toy Story movie. It's really impressive. Since it's the debut of most of these new worlds, it pretty much shows a condensed version of the movie, which is fine, as they're still entertaining and fun like a Pixar movie should be. Granted, Sora and the gang doesn't get involved into the emotional parts. They kind of just stand off to the side and say, "Look over there!" For games like this, there are always some side activities and collectibles, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is no different. Another reference to Disneyland are the Lucky Marks, aka the Hidden Mickeys. Find them hidden throughout all the worlds and you'll unlock something, maybe, I don't know. The Gummy Ship returns in another reimagining, this time resembling a little bit of No Man's Sky, mixed maybe with Star Fox, kinda? The Gummy Phone, we'll get back to this in a second, has some fun distractions in the form of classic Tiger Electronics LCD gameplay. Ratatouille has some recipe creation minigames that can add boost to Sora and company during combat, and the Shop Moogle has some missions for unlocking more stuff for item synthesis. There's enough rewards and side quests here to make any completionist go hungry. After playing for a little while, you do finally start to realize why the hype disappeared almost immediately, and I will claim it's mainly due to the story element. Quite frankly, it is just too far gone to make people care. There's a huge focus on the characters introduced in all of the side games they released over the years. Remember the characters from the PSP release? Shit, no you don't. But they're there, and they're a huge part to the lore, apparently. What about the new scientist professor-y guy in a lab coat with the spiky hair? He's not the nicest person, but he's on our side, probably. And then there's the threat of Organization 13. Although I could have swore you got rid of all of the original Organization 13, and this is Organization 13-2 trying to remake it. It's a lot to take in and try to make sense of. Kingdom Hearts 3 is like trying to start watching an anime series starting at episode 97. There are a lot of characters vying for the main attention of the player who can't keep up, and it just becomes a deep dive. While the combat is the standout reason to play Kingdom Hearts 3, the story sticks its butt into things and really holds back on having some amazing ideas and moments, especially when it comes to boss fights. For the most part, the stories in each world is one of the Disney characters having some sort of internal conflict, which is perfect for the Heartless to come fester up. However, the heroes usually resolve the issue before any fighting, and then you just kind of fight a giant Heartless. That sound you just heard were my expectations deflating comically all over the room. Allow me to give you two scenarios. First, imagine Buzz Lightyear, losing hope from the situation around him, succumbing to the darkness, becoming Buzz Heartless. Then you and your friends have to fight to bring him back to his senses. Oh, the emotional weight! Now, imagine fighting a big Heartless from a toy ship. That's it! Guess which one the game went with? I'm not kidding. One of the bosses was made from a cloak. The immense missed opportunity just gives the feeling of that annoying anime trope of everything's gonna be okay without any actual threat of loss. Finally, in what may be the most nitpickiest of nitpicks, I absolutely hate the gummy phone. It's another example of games trying to make up for being gone for X number of years. In the 12 to 13 years with no mainline Kingdom Hearts game, cell phones got huge, so of course, our main hero has one now to make him relatable. And granted, a lot of games have this camera mode now where you can take selfies and all that jazz. The difference is that most of these games are set in the real world, and is something either for side quests / collectibles, see Watch Dogs 2, the Landmark app, see Spider-Man, and all that, then you never really have to worry about them again. What Kingdom Hearts does that drives me crazy is the loading screens will have a shot of whatever the biggest story moment currently is, and it acts like it gets posted on Instagram. Imagine a picture of Riku being all melodramatic, framed by a webpage with the caption, "Riku found the king, but what next? #adventure, #King Mickey." Again, those are exaggerations, but I am not making up the fact that they used hashtags. The system of this life story being shared makes no narrative sense, as there's no audience in the Kingdom Hearts world that has a way to watch what's going on. Hell, I was halfway expecting Sora to shout out his Patreon backers and start doing an intro. In the technical sense, there's nothing wrong with Kingdom Hearts 3. A free-roaming beat-em-up with RPG elements, it's a good combination. The disconnect seems to come from the aim of the story to its target market. Listen, I have a business degree, I'm gonna use it on something trivial like video games. In the 12 to 13 years Kingdom Hearts was gone, we all grew up. Yes, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a good game, but we were all 15. Now we're 28, with bills and drinking problems. With the shift into Pixar properties, which are for a younger audience, let's face it, that previously present wow factor really isn't there. Add in a convoluted storyline that we don't have time to catch up on, and you get a game where you sigh in disappointment at every cutscene because it's going to take forever until you get to hit something again. Plus, there aren't that many Final Fantasy references anymore. And don't get me started on the conspiracy theory behind the Frozen level. There's a whole video about it, it's actually kind of interesting. This hits a weird in-between of okay and good. I'll call it Go-K. It's Go-K, that's about it. That is the episode this time. Thank you for listening. Check me out on Twitter at JustAewch, capital J-U-S-T, capital A-E-W-C-H. Go over to the blog, aewchspeaks.wordpress.com. You were listening to the podcast, which you probably found at justaewch.podomatic.com. And, of course, the background music provided by the Bass Rebels. Great copyright-free music. And plus, that's just the stuff I like anyways. So give them a look, bassrebels.co.uk. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening. We will hear from you then. Bye-bye, everybody.